Hello, you guys. It is Crystal Lopez here from crystalandcomp.com. And did you know that making your own chicken stock or broth is one of the easiest things that you can do and one of the simplest ways to save money on your grocery budget? I'm going to show you how to take this, something like this, and something like this, and turn it into the best chicken stock or broth you've ever had. Ignore my messy kitchen. It's a working kitchen where I'm feeding my 5 kids who still live at home. And ignore the fact that it's 100 degrees outside and I'm wearing a pumpkin is everything shirt. All right, grab your cutting board and let's get going. So recently I purchased a rotisserie chicken at the grocery store and deboned it and took it to our small groups at church. And I took the leftover bones and skin and stuff and put it back in the bag and put that bag in the fridge because I knew that in a day or two I would be making chicken stock. Then I made chicken gnocchi soup for our little boy who turned 11. And I did the same thing, saving the bones and the skin and the seasonings and put it in a bag, or actually I put it in a bowl in the fridge and held on to it so that we could make our broth. So now we're going to gather up all of our things. We've got the leftover chicken stuff that we are pulling out from the fridge, and then we have some vegetables. We've got onion, garlic, celery, carrots. I've got some bay leaves, and I have some peppercorns, and we're going to use all of this to make our stock. So I'm dumping all of the chicken bone skins, etc., into my big stock pot here. And as it sits in the fridge, it kind of creates some gel from, it's like a gelatin. We want all of that to go in, okay? That's part of why this chicken is like all bunched hard together, is because it's cold and it's been in the fridge, but also there's gelatin that's been created during the process of everything, and it's just kind of binding everything together. We're going to dump all of that in. It's all good nutrients. Then I want you to take, I did 3 or so pretty big carrots. You're not even peeling them. You're just chopping them up and putting them in there. Chop them up just so that, it makes them a little smaller and they cook quicker. I'm going to take an onion and I'm actually going to just cut it into fours and I'm throwing the skin in and everything. All of this is going to provide great flavor for our chicken stock. And then I'm going to take a bulb of garlic and pull off, I don't know, a little less than half of the bulb, and we're going to throw all of it in as well. We're not even going to peel it. You can pull off little pieces if you feel the need to, but other than that, everything can just kind of be thrown right in. And it's all going to cook together and give us some great flavor. You're going to see my dogs in the background. We have 4 dogs, and anytime they smell chicken, here they come to the kitchen. They can't wait. Anyway, our kitchen's pretty busy. We've got people in and out. We have 9 kids. 5 of them are still at home. So you're going to see teenagers and younger kids run in and out of here as I am preparing all of this. I've got dinner going on the grill. My husband is just getting home from work and we're doing our thing. So, and there's Rosie in the background, just hoping I drop something. All right, so I've got this celery here and I am going to wash it off. But I'm going to throw the celery in with the leaves and everything. All of that will provide some goodness in our chicken stock. Okay, so now that we've got everything in the stock pot, we are going to fill it up with water. But before we do that, we're going to make sure that we have some good seasonings in here. So we want to add some salt. Now, one of the great things is when you make your own stock at home, you get to control how much salt goes into the stock. If you've ever noticed, when you buy stock, look at the box and see how much sodium is in there. You might be surprised. I also open up my container of peppercorns and pour some of those in there. And then I did about 6 bay leaves. So all of that is in there. Now we want to fill it up with water and we're going to fill it all the way up. I just use cold tap water. If you want to use purified water or something like that, you are absolutely welcome to do so. All right, so I take my pot and I just put it on top of the stove and I want to bring this to a boil. and I'm gonna let it, there it is. It's a nice rolling boil. Maybe you do yours differently. If you do, let me know. This is going on while dinner's going. So I told you already, I had dinner on the grill. There were some vegetables cooking on the stove. There's a crock pot of baked potatoes to the right of here. We're busy over here. But we've got this really, it's a good rolling boil, and all the flavors are coming together and combining well. And then we're going to turn it down and we're going to put it on low and put a lid on it. And that boiling will stop. I don't even want it to do like a low boil. I just want it to kind of simmer. And that's a pretty big stock pot. It holds quite a bit. We got this stock pot at IKEA probably 8 years ago. And that lid doesn't even fit it. The lid for it broke a long time ago. But so I use a ladle. I'm going to stir it up. You can see that it's kind of been sitting. It still has it's on low heat, but it starts to create that little film on top, you know. We're going to stir it up. All of the bones should be nice and tender. All of our vegetables should be nice and tender. And now this is where the magic happens. Ignore the mess. There's like my salad spinners back there. We had salad to go with dinner. There's a bowl of watermelon back there. Ignore all of that. My kitchen sink's got dishes in it because we were eating dinner and doing all the things that we do while this was sitting on the stove simmering. So I'm just going to stir it up a little bit more, and then you're going to need a good funnel. And you're going to need a good strainer. So that strainer, I use that strainer for rice as well. It's a great little handy thing. I think I grabbed it at HEB one day, probably 5 years ago. But you can get them on Amazon all day long. We're going to need one of those. I did recently order these ice cube trays that are part plastic and they're BPA free and they're part silicone, so that everything pops out easily, and they have a lid on them. Perfect for storing or freezing lemon juice, lime juice. Like I've shown you that one video where I froze my lemon juice that I bought in bulk, or I cut up my lemons and juiced them and put it in nice trays. These are great for that as well. All right, so for now I'm just going to use a ladle because the stock pot is way too heavy for me to just pour over, and I don't want to make a mess and get hot water everywhere or hot liquid. So I'm just using a ladle to pick up, you know, everything that is in the stock pot and put it into this strainer that nests perfectly on top of my glass. That's like an 8-cup measuring cup. It's the Pampered Chef ones. For me, I guess they still sell them. I've had that thing for forever. Great purchase, by the way, because it has lasted me. I bet I've had it for 20 years. I love it. Anyway, so we're just going to ladle that in there. The juice is going to fall to the bottom, and then all of the remnants are going to stay there in the strainer. Now, I do love this strainer that it has the little prongs on the side so that it will rest on top of that measuring cup or on top of a pan. All right, so I'm using the funnel, and I've got some mason jars that we are going to pour this chicken stock into. Be careful not to overfill. I got a little nervous there because it comes out fast. I use those funnels for everything. I use the funnels, I buy dish soap in bulk, and so I use them. I use the funnels to put my dish soap in my containers. Those things get a lot of use. I think I got those at IKEA. Anyway, and then I have another bowl set here that we're going to put all the remnants in. Now, you're not going to want to reuse these remnants to make more stock. You've pretty much got everything out of this that you can. Now, some people will compost it. Some people take it and you can either, I've read where some people give that to their dogs or to their animals. Totally up to you. You need to read up on it. Maybe some people will leave some comments and let us know what they do with it. Obviously, the bones need to be very, very soft. But I'm going to leave that up to you to decide how you want to do that. I've read lots of things online where people use it for composting. So the vegetables, if you have chickens, you could give the vegetables to your chickens. That is definitely an option. Once it's cooled off, obviously, you don't want to give any of this to an animal while it's hot. But I've read where people run all that through a blender and give it to their dogs. You need to do your research and decide. But for us, it went in the trash. So, you know, you utilize this the way you want to utilize it. And at the end of the day, you got what you needed out of this. You've got some great chicken stock here. So how much money are we saving? This has been quite a, I don't know where it stands on your scale of how much work this is, but to me, this isn't much work for what I'm getting in return. And I use a lot of chicken stock. I cook with it a lot, or chicken broth. But for some of you, this might be considered, you're like, oh man, this is really inconvenient. Remember, the more convenient something is, the more we're going to pay for it. And the more inconvenient it is, likely the cheaper it is. Because we tell people this when we coach people in business, you either have time or you have money. Which one do you have? So when we're trying to pare down and make a lean grocery budget and lean our spending, everything adds up. So I was doing some pricing, and right now, this is how much you're looking at per 32-ounce container of chicken broth, or chicken stock, actually. So at Sam's, now you've got to buy a 6-pack of them, but by the unit, each 32-ounce container of chicken stock is $1.25. Now, you got to multiply that by 6 because you're buying it in a package of 6, but still, that's the cost per unit. At H-E-B, which is the Texas grocery store chain, it is currently $2.06 for every 32 ounces. And then at Walmart, and this is for the store brand on all of this, at Walmart, it is $1.50 for every 32 ounces. So the cheapest way to buy it is to buy it in bulk at Sam's. But still, at $1.25 each, we have well over 96 ounces here of chicken stock. So what you can do, as you have, if you make a whole chicken or you have rotisserie chickens and you debone them, and you don't necessarily maybe want to make the stock right away, what you can do is you can take them, store them in the fridge for a day or two. If you're not going to make the stock within a day or two, put them in the freezer and then take it out and defrost it and make the stock when the time is good for you. Okay. You can also start saving your carrot and onion scraps and the different vegetable scraps. You can save those and put them in the freezer even, and then pull them out and have them ready to go when you're ready to make stock. You do want to make sure that when you're putting all of this into these glass containers or the silicone ice cube trays, you want to make sure that, especially the glass, if this is really hot, you don't want to put them in the freezer or the fridge right away. Now, once this stock is done, you can freeze it. You can freeze it in these glass jars as long as you don't fill them to the tippy top, okay? Personally, I am using the ice cube trays to freeze. So I put all of the glass jars in the refrigerator, and I made this 2 days ago, and I've already used that biggest container there, the biggest glass container. I've already used all of that. So if within about 5 to 7 days, if I have not used the rest of the chicken stock, I will pour it into ice cube trays and freeze them. So even though I only have 4 ice cube trays, freeze a batch, and then when they're done, pop them out, put them in a Ziploc bag, freeze another batch. You get the idea. But look at that stock. Doesn't it look so delicious? And again, you get to control the flavor. You get to control the herbs. You get to control if you want this to be organic. I didn't even give you pricing for what organic chicken stock is going for. It is double what you would pay for the non-organic grocery store brand. It is expensive. So you really are saving so much money by making all of this yourself. This made right at 130 to 140 ounces of homemade chicken stock. And I love these that they have the lids on them, these ice trays, because I don't have to worry about spillage when I put them out in the freezer, especially a chest freezer. Did you see the layer of fat that is forming on the top of these mason jars, on the top of these jars of stock? That's really good stuff. So seal them up. Like I said, these are going to go in the fridge. Don't put them in the fridge while it's super, super hot. Be very careful of that. But Now you've got a nice little stockpile of chicken stock. And if you make a fryer, a whole fryer or a whole bird once a week, maybe in the crock pot or in the oven, or if you buy a rotisserie chicken once a week, you could literally create enough stock every week to have on hand so that you never have to buy it again. So this is something that gets to come off of your grocery list from here on out. It really is such a great staple to have in your fridge all the time. If you do decide to freeze this, for example, in the ice cube trays, or if you decide to freeze it in these glass jars, as long as you do need to make sure that your glass jars are freezer safe. So double check the information on that before you put them in the freezer. But to defrost them, just put them in the refrigerator and let them thaw or defrost in the fridge, so that it's kind of done at a even, steady temperature decrease, just to keep everything nice and safe. All right, guys, there you have it. There is what we made. I love doing this. It is such a great thing to have on hand. And I am excited for you to give it a try. Leave me a comment below if you have tips for people on best tips for making their own homemade stock, some of your favorite recipes for using it in, or some of your best tips for making it come out perfect. All right, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.